Developing Capacity for Greatness, Keys to Unleashing Your Greatness Series, Part 9. Build Wealth, Build Your Life. Written by Daniel Eremesele. Continuation of Chapter 6. Building Production Capacity. From the consumption level to the production level. Moving from the consumption level to the production or manufacturing level requires the progressive development of human capacity. This principle is true for individuals, organizations and nations. If you want to make progress in any area of your life, you must develop your productive capacity by improving your knowledge, skills and competence. The beginning of every productive life is the development of potential and capability. If you do not develop what is within you, it cannot become a blessing to the world. Undeveloped potential remains an unfulfilled possibility. There is an ability within you that can contribute to a product, service or solution capable of blessing your generation. You may not yet know the full extent of that ability, but discovery begins when you pay attention to your interests, concerns, experiences and opportunities to serve. Do not limit the word production to factories and physical goods. Production also includes intellectual, creative and service-based contributions. A teacher produces knowledge and understanding. An author produces books. A musician produces songs, while a software developer produces digital solutions. A farmer produces food, and a manufacturer transforms raw materials into finished goods. A doctor contributes to health, while an administrator develops systems that enable organizations to function effectively. Every legitimate field contains opportunities for production. The question is, what valuable result does your work produce? When this question cannot be answered clearly, there may be a need to examine your activities. You may be occupied without being truly productive. Productivity should not be measured only by the number of tasks completed. It should be connected to the value and outcomes those tasks create. A person can send 100 messages without solving a problem. Another person may have one important conversation that produces clarity, partnership and progress. Focus on results rather than motion alone. Developing a producer's mentality. A producer's mentality begins with responsibility. It refuses to make other people permanently responsible for what can be developed personally. This mentality does not deny the existence of injustice, inequality or genuine obstacles. Some people face severe limitations and require support. However, even when assistance is necessary, empowerment should aim to increase the person's ability to participate productively. A producer asks, what can I contribute? What can I improve? What problem can I help solve? What knowledge or skill do I need? How can I use what is currently available? A consumer asks primarily what can be received. The producer also receives, but receives with the intention of creating further value. For example, a producer receives education and uses it to serve society. The producer receives capital and uses it to build a sustainable enterprise. The producer receives an opportunity and develops it so that more opportunities become available to others. Kingdom production is based on stewardship. What enters your hands should become better because you handled it responsibly. The servants in the parable of the talents received resources and produced an increase. Their success demonstrated stewardship. A producer's mentality refuses to bury opportunities in fear. It is willing to begin, learn and accept responsibility for the outcome. You may not control everything that happens around you, but you can take responsibility for your response. The environment may be difficult, but ask what can still be done. Resources may be limited, but determine how they can be managed intelligently. History contains people who produced remarkable results under difficult conditions. Their challenges were real, but they refused to allow those challenges to eliminate every possibility. Do not make an idol of your obstacles. Acknowledge them, study them and develop a strategy for overcoming or working around them. The discipline of starting small. A producer must be willing to begin at the level current resources permit. Many dreams remain unfulfilled because their owners insist on starting at the highest possible level. They want the large office, expensive equipment and public recognition before they have tested the idea. A small beginning allows you to learn with manageable risk. You can test your product with a limited number of customers. You can observe how people respond, identify weaknesses and improve the offering. Beginning small does not require thinking small. You can possess a great vision while starting with a modest operation. The vision describes the destination. The beginning reflects your present resources. Do not be ashamed of an honest small beginning. Many respected organizations began in garages, homes, classrooms, or borrowed facilities. What matters is the quality of the foundation. Build systems from the beginning. Keep records, respect customers, and maintain integrity even when the business is small. The habits established at the beginning often follow the organization into the future. If you are careless with 10 customers, receiving 10,000 customers will magnify the disorder. If you cannot account for a small amount of money, greater revenue may create greater confusion. Treat your small beginning as preparation for expansion. Turning knowledge into systems. Production capacity grows when knowledge is organized into dependable systems. A system is a structured method through which work is performed consistently. It defines the steps, responsibilities, and standards required to produce an intended result. Without systems, success may depend entirely upon individual effort or memory. This makes growth difficult. For example, a restaurant needs systems for purchasing ingredients, preparing food, maintaining hygiene, serving customers, and managing payments. A school requires systems for admissions, teaching, assessment, discipline, communication, and student support. A ministry needs systems for administration, financial accountability, pastoral care, outreach, and follow-up. A system does not remove the need for human wisdom. It helps people apply wisdom consistently. Document important processes. Do not allow essential knowledge to exist only in one person's mind. Train others. If no one can perform a task when you are absent, the organization is vulnerable. Delegation increases production capacity because it allows responsibilities to be distributed among competent people. However, delegation is not abandonment. A leader must provide clear expectations, resources, and accountability. Do not give someone a task without explaining the expected outcome. Do not hold people responsible for standards they were never taught. Good systems create clarity. People know what should be done, how it should be done, and how success will be measured. Measuring productivity. What is measured can be evaluated and improved. Many people assume they are productive because they feel tired. Tiredness is not always evidence of meaningful accomplishment. You need a way to examine your results. An author may measure the number of quality pages completed. A salesperson may examine customer relationships, sales, and retention. A farmer may assess yield, quality, and losses. A teacher may evaluate how well students understand and apply the lessons. The appropriate measurement depends on the assignment. Do not measure only quantity. Quality, usefulness, timeliness, and sustainability also matter. Producing many defective items is not true progress. Serving many people poorly may damage your reputation. At the same time, do not use the pursuit of quality to justify extremely low output. Production capacity involves delivering good work within a useful period. Establish clear objectives. Break large goals into smaller tasks and assign realistic deadlines. Review progress regularly. If a goal is not being achieved, determine why. Perhaps the objective was unrealistic, the method is ineffective, or additional resources are required. Honest measurement provides information for better decisions. Do not manipulate records to create the appearance of success. False information prevents genuine improvement. Truthful evaluation may be uncomfortable, but it is necessary for growth. Time as a production resource. Time is one of the most important resources entrusted to every person. We do not all possess the same financial resources, but every day gives each person a limited amount of time. How you use time influences what you can produce. Time cannot be stored physically for future use. Once a day has passed, it cannot be recovered. Therefore, time must be invested wisely. This does not mean that every moment must be filled with work. Rest, worship, relationships, and recreation also have value. The objective is not to become continually busy. It is to use each season according to its proper purpose. Identify the hours during which your mind and body function most effectively. Use those periods for important work when possible. Reduce distractions that consume time without contributing meaningful value. Establish boundaries around activities that repeatedly interrupt concentration. Learn to distinguish urgent matters from important ones. Some tasks demand immediate attention but contribute little to your long-term purpose. Important activities such as study, planning, health, and relationship building may not always appear urgent, but neglecting them creates future crises. Productive people do not merely respond to whatever appears. They deliberately schedule activities connected to their objectives. Financial resources and production. Production requires resources, and money is one of them. Although economic empowerment extends beyond money, financial capital can help ideas become products. Money can purchase equipment, materials, training, labor and distribution. However, the absence of large capital should not automatically prevent you from beginning. Determine what can be done at your current level. You may be able to provide a service before building a physical product. You may test an idea manually before investing in expensive technology. You may form a partnership, save gradually or begin with customer pre-orders where appropriate and lawful. Resourcefulness helps you reduce unnecessary costs while protecting quality. Keep accurate financial records. Separate personal money from business finances as early as possible. Know what it costs to produce your product or deliver your service. If you do not understand your costs, you cannot price responsibly. Revenue is not the same as profit. Money entering the business must pay expenses before profit is determined. Some businesses appear successful because they receive substantial revenue, but they are losing money because costs exceed income. Financial knowledge is part of production capacity. Learn budgeting, cash flow management, saving and responsible investment. Seek professional assistance when necessary. Do not make major financial decisions based only on excitement. Study the risks and consider the long-term consequences. Avoid debt that does not support productive or necessary purposes. Borrowing may sometimes assist expansion, but it must be approached with wisdom. Money should serve the vision. The vision should not be controlled by greed. Tools and technology. Tools increase human productivity. A tool enables a person to perform a task more efficiently than would otherwise be possible. From simple farming instruments to advanced computers, tools extend human capability. The skillful use of technology is therefore important for production. Technology can reduce costs, improve accuracy and expand access to markets. A small business can use digital tools for accounting, communication, design and customer service. An author can use technology to write, edit and distribute books. Teachers can reach students across great distances. Farmers can access weather information, market prices and improved production methods. However, technology is effective only when people understand how to use it. Purchasing expensive equipment does not automatically increase productivity. Training, maintenance and proper integration are required. Select tools according to the problem you need to solve. Do not purchase technology merely because it is fashionable. A simple tool used effectively may produce more value than an advanced tool that nobody understands. Technology should support human purpose rather than control it. Use it responsibly, ethically and with respect for people's dignity and privacy. Artificial intelligence, automation and other emerging technologies will continue to transform work. Individuals and nations must prepare by developing adaptable skills. Some tasks may change or disappear, while new forms of work will emerge. The appropriate response is not fear alone but education, creativity and responsible planning. People who remain willing to learn can adapt to changing environments. The power of maintenance. Production capacity is not built only by creating new things. It is also sustained through maintenance. A machine that is never maintained will eventually fail. A road that is neglected will deteriorate, while a business system that is never reviewed may become ineffective. Maintenance protects investment. Many individuals and nations enjoy launching new projects but neglect the discipline required to preserve them. Commissioning ceremonies attract attention, but routine maintenance is less visible. Nevertheless, the future of the project depends upon it. Develop a maintenance culture. Care for equipment, facilities and relationships. Follow recommended service schedules. Replace worn parts before they cause larger damage. Keep records of maintenance and train people to use tools correctly. Personal capacity also requires maintenance. Continue reading, practicing and updating your knowledge. Relationships require communication and trust. Health requires responsible habits. Do not wait until everything breaks down before taking action. Preventive maintenance is generally less expensive than emergency repair. Quality control. A producer must care about quality. Quality control is the process of ensuring that products and services meet established standards. It protects customers and strengthens the producer's reputation. Inspect your work. Test products before releasing them. Correct defects and listen to credible feedback. Do not knowingly sell something dangerous or unreliable. Short-term profit gained by compromising quality can create long-term loss. Customers who feel deceived may never return, and they may warn others. Excellence builds trust. When people know that your name represents reliability, your reputation becomes a valuable asset. Quality should be consistent. It is not enough to produce an excellent result occasionally. Develop standards that can be repeated. Train every team member to understand them. Where safety is involved, comply with professional and legal requirements. Faith does not remove the responsibility to follow appropriate standards. A product should not be called excellent merely because a believer produced it. Excellence must be demonstrated through the quality of the result. Kingdom people should aspire to produce work that is honest, dependable and beneficial. Customer-centered production. Production exists to serve real human needs. Therefore, producers must understand the people they intend to serve. Do not become so attached to your idea that you ignore the customer's experience. Listen carefully. What do customers value? What challenges do they encounter while using the product? Why do some people return while others do not? Customer-centered production does not mean obeying every demand. Some requests may be unreasonable or inconsistent with your purpose. However, patterns in customer feedback can reveal valuable opportunities for improvement. Treat customers with dignity. Communicate clearly about prices, delivery times and product limitations. Do not promise what you cannot deliver. If a mistake occurs, acknowledge it and work towards a fair solution. Customer service is part of the product. A technically excellent product accompanied by disrespectful treatment may still create a poor experience. People remember how they were treated. Kingdom enterprise should reflect honesty and consideration in every interaction. Creating employment. One of the significant benefits of production capacity is the creation of employment. When a business grows, it can provide opportunities for people to use their abilities and support their families. Employment creates more than income. Meaningful work can strengthen dignity, skill and social stability. However, employers must treat workers fairly. Employees are not machines or disposable instruments. They are human beings created in the image of God. Pay lawful and fair wages. Provide safe working conditions and clear expectations. Correct employees respectfully. Recognize good work and create opportunities for development where possible. At the same time, employees must perform the duties faithfully. Receiving a salary creates a responsibility to provide the agreed work. Do not waste company time, steal resources or deliberately produce poor results. A productive economy requires responsible employers and responsible employees. Employment can also become a school of capacity. Workers should learn through experience and training. Some may eventually establish their own enterprises, creating additional opportunities for others. A healthy economy grows when knowledge and productivity multiply. Entrepreneurship and production. Entrepreneurs play an important role in building production capacity. They identify opportunities, organize resources and accept the risks involved in creating solutions. Entrepreneurship is not simply buying and selling. It includes innovation, problem solving and institution building. A trader may become an entrepreneur by developing systems, creating a brand and expanding distribution. A skilled worker may become an entrepreneur by building a team and establishing a sustainable service business. Entrepreneurship requires vision, but it also demands administration. Many promising businesses fail because the owner loves the product but neglects financial management and organizational systems. Learn every essential part of your enterprise. You do not have to perform each responsibility personally, but you must ensure that competent people handle it. Build an organization that can function beyond your individual energy. If everything depends entirely upon you, growth will remain limited. Document the vision. Establish values and train leaders who can preserve the organization's purpose. A successful enterprise should eventually become an institution rather than remaining only an extension of one person's personality. Production and generational wealth. Production capacity can create generational wealth when it builds assets, knowledge and institutions that continue beyond the founder. Generational wealth is more than leaving money to your children. Money can be spent quickly if the recipients lack wisdom. True generational wealth includes values, education, productive assets, relationships and the knowledge required to manage resources. Teach children the principles of work, stewardship, generosity and investment. Do not merely give them possessions. Help them develop capacity. An inheritance without preparation can become destructive. A prepared successor is more valuable than a large account entrusted to an irresponsible person. Create systems that preserve the mission of the enterprise. Establish appropriate legal structures, succession plans and financial accountability. Talk openly and wisely about responsibility. Kingdom generational wealth should become a means of service. Each generation should use what it receives to create further value. The purpose is not to produce entitled descendants but empowered stewards. The moral purpose of production. Production must be governed by morality. Human ability can create things that heal or harm. Not every profitable product is beneficial. Economic reward should not be the only standard used to evaluate an enterprise. Ask whether the product respects human dignity, strengthens society and agrees with righteous principles. Do not build wealth by exploiting addiction, deception or suffering. A producer is responsible for the effects of the product as far as those effects can reasonably be understood and controlled. Kingdom productivity seeks profit with purpose and prosperity with righteousness. Money is a servant, not a god. When money becomes the highest objective, people may sacrifice truth, family and conscience to obtain it. Let your work become worship. Perform it as service to God and humanity. Paul wrote, "And whatsoever ye do, do it heartily, as to the Lord, and not unto men." Colossians 3:23. When work is offered to God, excellence and integrity become spiritual responsibilities. The great inventions that support modern life. Consider how different life would be if people had refused to develop their abilities. Without cars and other transportation systems, movement would be considerably more difficult. Without aeroplanes, international travel would require far more time. Without electricity, many manufacturing companies, hospitals and communication systems could not function as they do today. Without telephones, computers and the internet, global communication would be severely restricted. These products exist because individuals and teams were willing to study problems and develop solutions. The modern world depends on systems of cooperation. Designers, engineers, technicians, investors, manufacturers, transporters and many others work together to bring a product to the user. No major invention is sustained by one person alone. Even when one individual receives recognition, many people contribute to the research, production and distribution process. This should teach us humility. Our achievements are connected to the contributions of others. The clothes we wear exist because people grew or produced materials, developed designs, operated machines and organized distribution. The food we eat passes through farmers, processors, transporters and sellers. We live within networks of human contribution. Therefore, respect the work of others and recognize that your own contribution also matters. The medical revolution. Consider the world of medicine and the doctors, nurses, pharmacists, researchers and other professionals who help preserve human life. The field of medicine demonstrates the power of developed capacity. Through research and practice, medical professionals have developed procedures and treatments that earlier generations could hardly imagine. Surgeons such as Dr. Ben Carson became known for performing highly complex operations. Such achievements required more than natural ability. They demanded years of education, disciplined training, teamwork, courage and continuous learning. Medical breakthroughs are not produced by wishful thinking. They emerge from research, careful testing and the willingness to learn from previous limitations. Every profession can experience similar advancement when people develop their capacity and commit themselves to excellence. There are solutions that have not yet been discovered. There are diseases for which better treatments are still needed. There are technologies, educational methods and agricultural systems yet to be developed. The fact that many inventions already exist does not mean that human creativity has reached its limit. What God has prepared for this generation. The scripture says, "But as it is written, eye hath not seen, nor ear heard, neither have entered into the heart of man, the things which God hath prepared for them that love him." 1 Corinthians 2:9. There are things God has prepared that are yet to be revealed and brought into practical manifestation. The following verse teaches that God reveals things by His Spirit. Spiritual revelation can inspire people to pursue possibilities that were previously unseen. However, revelation should lead to development. The idea must be studied, tested and responsibly implemented. It is possible that God has placed within this generation solutions for present and future challenges. Some of those solutions may be carried by children who currently lack access to proper education. Others may be within people who have been made to believe that their ideas do not matter. We must create environments that allow gifts to emerge. Do not look down upon people because of their present condition. The person you ignore today may carry a solution that will bless millions tomorrow. God often hides great treasures in ordinary vessels. Your responsibility is to remain sensitive to what He has placed within you and others. Stir up the gift within you. I exhort you to stir up the gift within you. Develop your potential and improve your competence. Do not wait passively for someone else to recognize you. Take responsibility for your growth. Study, practice and serve. If you make a mistake, learn from it. If you receive correction, use it. If one method fails, examine the result and try a wiser approach. Do not allow shame to bury your gift. You may have experienced rejection. Someone may have said that you would never succeed. That person's opinion does not have to become the governing prophecy of your life. Return to God's Word. Remember that you were created in His image and entrusted with abilities that can be developed. You may begin from a place of disadvantage, but growth remains possible. Do not compare your journey continually with someone else's. Comparison can produce pride when you appear ahead and discouragement when you appear behind. Focus on becoming faithful and fruitful within your own assignment. You may be the person God will use to bring about the next important innovation in your career, community, state or nation. The solution may begin with an idea that appears small. Write it down, research it, seek counsel and begin developing it. Your idea may require years of work, but greatness takes time. Perseverance in the production process. Production requires perseverance because meaningful results are rarely achieved without resistance. You may encounter limited resources, rejection or delay. Equipment may fail, customers may misunderstand the product and team members may disappoint you. Do not allow temporary difficulties to make you abandon a valuable assignment prematurely. At the same time, perseverance is not stubbornly repeating an ineffective method. It includes adapting while remaining committed to the central purpose. If one road is closed, seek another responsible route. If feedback reveals a weakness, improve the product. Perseverance works with wisdom. Learn the difference between a difficult process and a wrong direction. Seek God, examine the evidence and listen to wise counsel. Some doors should be pushed with patience, others should be recognized as guidance towards a better path. Failure is not always final. It can become part of your training when you respond correctly. Thomas Edison is often associated with persistent experimentation in the development of practical electric lighting. Whether considering him or countless other inventors, the principle remains: productive discovery often requires many tests. Do not expect every attempt to succeed. Expect every honest attempt to teach you something. Courage to release your product. Some people develop their ideas but never release them because of fear. They are afraid that people will criticize the product, reject it or compare it with the work of others. Criticism is part of public contribution. Once your work enters the marketplace, people will have opinions about it. Learn to distinguish between constructive feedback, personal preference and malicious attacks. Use constructive feedback to improve. Respect personal preference without trying to please everyone. Refuse to allow malicious words to control your identity. Your first product may not be your best product. It represents the beginning of a developmental journey. Release your work when it has reached a responsible standard. Continue improving through experience. The world cannot benefit from a product that remains permanently hidden. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to act responsibly despite fear. Collaborating with God. Kingdom productivity involves collaborating with God. Paul wrote, "I have planted, Apollos watered, but God gave the increase." 1 Corinthians 3:6. Human beings have responsibilities, but God remains the source of increase. One person plants and another waters. These actions represent work, cooperation and process. God provides the life and increase that human effort alone cannot manufacture. This principle protects us from laziness and pride. We cannot refuse to plant and then blame God because there is no harvest. At the same time, we should not become proud when the harvest appears. We worked, but God supplied life, opportunity, strength and increase. Pray as though you depend upon God, and work with the diligence of a responsible steward. Commit your plans to Him. Ask for wisdom and remain willing to receive correction. Let your success become a testimony of His grace rather than a monument to personal pride. Building capacity for the future. Production capacity must be developed with the future in mind. Do not produce only for present needs. Study emerging challenges and prepare solutions for coming generations. Climate changes, population growth, technological advancement and shifts in employment will create new demands. Agriculture must become more efficient and sustainable. Education must prepare students for a changing world. Energy systems must become more reliable, while healthcare must respond to new and existing diseases. Future preparation requires research and long-term thinking. A leader who thinks only about the next election may sacrifice long-term development. A business that thinks only about immediate profit may neglect innovation. A family that consumes everything today may leave the next generation without a foundation. Wisdom considers tomorrow. A personal production capacity plan. To develop your production capacity, begin by creating a practical personal plan. First, identify your principal area of contribution. Determine the problem you are equipped or called to address. Second, assess your current capacity honestly. List your strengths, weaknesses, knowledge, tools and available relationships. Third, identify the skills you need to develop. Select specific books, courses, mentors or experiences that can help you. Fourth, choose a product, service or measurable outcome to develop. Fifth, establish a realistic schedule. Break the work into daily or weekly actions. Sixth, test your work with a small and appropriate audience. Request honest feedback. Seventh, improve the product and establish systems for consistent delivery. Eighth, keep financial and operational records. Ninth, review your progress regularly and make necessary adjustments. 10th, commit the entire process to God and maintain integrity. Do not attempt to change everything in one day. Begin with clear and consistent actions. A productive life is built through repeated responsible decisions. Building the person behind the product. The quality of a product is connected to the condition of the person or organization producing it. If the producer refuses correction, the product may stop improving. If the producer lacks discipline, delivery may become unreliable. Therefore, build the person behind the product. Develop patience, communication, humility and resilience. Learn how to work with different kinds of people. Strengthen your relationship with God and establish values that will guide you during pressure. Public success will test private convictions. Decide beforehand what you will not compromise. Write down the values governing your work. These may include honesty, excellence, service, accountability and respect for human dignity. When difficult decisions arise, allow those values to guide you. A great product built by a broken and uncontrolled person may not remain great for long. Build your life as carefully as you build your work. Chapter 6 Conclusion. Success is connected to your capacity for productivity. God created you to be fruitful, resourceful and industrious. Your gifts and talents are raw materials that must pass through development before becoming finished products. Preparation is not a punishment. It is the process through which potential becomes dependable capacity. To become productive, you must cultivate creativity, innovation, inventiveness, discipline, competence and integrity. You must learn to think qualitatively, meditate upon truth and generate ideas that solve meaningful problems. Individuals and nations that develop production capacity gain economic strength and a voice within their communities. Africa possesses the human and natural resources required for significant development, but we must invest in education, infrastructure, research, cooperation and accountable leadership. We must reward competence rather than celebrate materialism. We must honor producers, inventors, teachers and skilled professionals. Schools must become centers of human development, while education must produce people who can think and create. Personal development precedes national development. A nation cannot consistently rise beyond the developed capacity of its people and institutions. Develop yourself spiritually, intellectually, emotionally, physically and professionally. Move beyond the mentality of consumption. Become a producer. Start at your present level and build dependable systems. Use time, money, tools and relationships wisely. Measure your results, maintain quality and serve people with integrity. Remember that there are things God has prepared for this generation that have not yet entered human experience. Some of those solutions may be hidden within you. Therefore, stir up your gift. Develop your potential, improve your competence and remain committed to the process. It may be you whom God will use to produce the next great innovation in your profession, community or nation. This is the time to build production capacity. This is the time to move from potential to productivity and from consumption to contribution. Build wealth, build your life, and use your developed capacity to bless your generation. We sincerely appreciate the time you have spent with us. We look forward to connecting with you again. Until then, remain blessed, continue exploring the treasures God has placed within you, and remember to listen to our other inspirational materials. We would be grateful to receive your feedback and hear how this audiobook has blessed, encouraged, or transformed your life. Please help us to like and subscribe to our channel to help us reach more people. Thank you once again.